And here we go with another day of streaming live from the Giftwrap Center inside Santa's Workshop at Westfield UTC to benefit the kids at Rady Children's Hospital.
I'm not going to lie, on the drive-in today, I'm sure you were having the same thought. I was like, okay, the weather's not ideal.
Not ideal.
Not ideal for an outdoor mall, which normally, under normal circumstances, is the most pleasant place to be.
Sure.
On a beautiful San Diego day. How many days a year would you say it rains like this?
Man, even yesterday we were talking, it's going to rain tomorrow, but I was picturing drizzling,
mist,
not torrential, zero
misty
visibility downfall.
I know.
So not ideal.
I know.
And this toy drive or this fundraiser for toys goes on through Christmas Eve, which means next weekend is our only other weekend, which means we had a total of 4 weekend days to get people down here. And it's going to be tough today.
One of them. I know. But I think the great thing about it is you can donate online.
Yes.
I know you might not feel motivated right now if you're at home in your cozies watching TV or just kind of scrolling through the internet and finding us. Well, we're not on TV right now. You know what I mean? Scrolling through your socials and you're finding us. I know it probably doesn't sound super enticing to get in the car and drive to an outdoor mall and get your gifts wrapped. So you can donate online, which is awesome.
Awesome. Now, if you do want to come out, shorter lines.
Yes. Let's highlight the positives, shall we?
Tables aplenty in the food eating area.
Yes.
The ice rink, which is an awesome thing that people don't think about.
Yeah. That's perfect.
Probably less crowded than usual. So, it's not the worst idea to come out to spend part of your Sunday at Westfield UTC and make a donation and get your gift wraps. Our volunteers are already, look at them.
I know.
Already being put busy by awesome San Diego.
It's actually busier than I thought it would be in the Giftwrap Center.
Yes.
And the volunteers there's a couple of them right now, and they each have stacks of gifts. I saw some really cool little gifts for kids. It's like parents are here getting all the gifts wrapped. I love it.
Sarah is such a gift creeper. She's really taking in
a gift what?
Gift creeper. You're creeping
up on everyone's
gifts.
I like to see what people are getting. It gives me ideas.
Well, they're getting it. So if you don't know, let's give you the 411 on this whole thing. We did a toy drive for years. AJ's Kids Crane. We lived a crane and collect a bunch of toys. So it's back. But the Rady Children's Hospital is not collecting toys right now, so we can't collect toys. And there's no crane.
There's no crane.
So, I'm like using the bathroom on the ground. It's fantastic. Hot food.
It must be weird for you.
I love it. But
think if this was a crane year and it was raining like this.
It did rain on me many times. The weather was very mean to the crane.
Yeah.
Because it's San Diego. It's generally fine, and then I go to the crane and it'd be like
pouring.
But anyways, the cause is the same, and it's actually more important than ever because we did our last live event for toys in 2019, and then we've done a couple of virtual things, but this is our first opportunity to do a live event, and yet we've been still spending the money from the AJ's Kids account over the last 3 years. So
it needs to be refilled. It needs to be replenished for sure.
Yes, and you can do that by coming to see us, have your gift wrap. You need that done anyways. And making a donation of your choice. It'll all go to the kids, or to go donate online, allinsandiego.com, click on donate to make that donation. It means a lot, as always. And as always, what I've learned over the years is us asking you to make a donation is never as powerful as you hearing from families who have been affected by Rady Children's Hospital and the toys and diversions that you are able to help us help supply. Erin, thanks for taking a few minutes to join us.
No, absolutely. Glad to be here.
Well, let's start from the beginning. How did your Rady story begin?
Oh, my goodness. Well, back in December of 2015, our then 6-year-old, who didn't even know what a headache was started complaining about his forehead hurting. And it was always in the same spot. And my husband had been deployed and we had just moved from the East Coast. So our life was a bit chaotic. And I'd say, oh gosh, we'll get you some ibuprofen when we get home. And we'd get home, I'd forget. And I'd say, oh, do you need ibuprofen? He goes, no, it went away. So I kind of it wasn't coming together that there was a lot of regularity. So I finally mentioned it. My dad's a doctor out in San Diego, and I mentioned it to him, and he kind of gave me a weird look, and he's not the weird look guy. And he said, kids aren't supposed to get headaches like that. He goes, why don't you just go see his doc just to make sure? I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So we went in, fast forward about a month, and we got an MRI. And I got that phone call every parent dreads that said, there seems to be a mass. It doesn't look to be cancerous, but it will have to be taken care of. So our next step was to meet with a neurosurgeon, which no parent wants to do. And it was from our very first appointment, everything went smoothly and everyone was so kind. He had what's called an arachnoid cyst. So it's not cancerous, which was the best news ever, but he had to have brain surgery and he stayed in the hospital for 3 days. And every person we encountered, from the doctors, the nurses, the techs, the women that brought his dinner and his lunch, were so kind. And they would bring in distractions and movies and dogs, and just,
dogs, yes.
And we were not one of the, it was there for kind of a smaller on the medical scale thing, but to us it was humongous.
Big to you, yes.
And no one ever made us feel like we were, you guys were here for the hangnail.
Right.
They just took care of us, and we felt special. And Patrick felt so special. For a long time, he didn't want to talk about any of this to anyone. And so I started doing these interviews a few years ago, and suddenly now he's like, you should talk about this, because people need to know how special they are and how good they made me feel, so we all have Patrick's backing.
Yeah. So many people have a story of being at Rady's, but some people never have. And this exists. We've been doing this for over 20 years. And it exists because I was working at a radio station 20 years ago, and they asked me to do the radiothon that you just recently did. And I was in my early 20s, and I was like, children's hospital, this is going to be hard. It's going to be hard to see these sick kids. I was really nervous about it. And I got there, and I was within a few minutes going, this place is amazing. It's every person you meet is nicer than the next. Everyone's taking care of everyone. The kids are in surprisingly great moods because of that. It's an amazing place.
Yeah, it truly is. And we felt really lucky to be there, because we're a military family. My husband has since retired, and so we moved a lot, and we have 3 boys, so we'd been in our fair share of children's hospitals. And
oh my gosh,
there's no place like that. It's just makes you feel like, hey, we care about you, and we care about mom and dad. We care about how everyone's doing, and make sure this is a positive experience. So it was. I can't say enough positive things about Rady's.
And when you're there, you have this sense, very, very acutely aware, that people come from all over the country, all over the world, to Rady for their specialists. And we are so lucky that we have this right here in San Diego. I mean, it's incredible. We are we're so extremely lucky.
Yes. I mean, there are kids there from, the kid down the hall is from Mexico. There was a kid down the hall from China. They come for their specialty.
Yeah.
They know
and if all they did was supply world-class medical care for San Diego's kids, we'd be so grateful. But to do that while also making the experience as good as your sons and so many other kids, that's kind of the real extra mile that they bring to the table. That's what we're doing today. We're specifically raising funds for the toys and the games and the playrooms, because there is no budget for that at Rady's. They count on outside people to supply those things. And can you speak on how important those things are and why people should come out and help out?
Well, yeah, it's very important, and it takes a while to find someone in San Diego who hasn't been touched by Rady's.
You're right.
Everyone you talk to, if they haven't had a child that's had something done there, their neighbor did, or their sister did, or somebody, it touches so many lives, and it's all those families going through. And you might be there for an afternoon, or you might be there for a month. And kids need diversions. They're probably a little bit scared, even though they're being made to feel comfortable. They're nervous, They're scared. Mom and dad are nervous and scared.
Mm-hmm.
And so if there's diversions and toys and something to, to entertain the kids, that takes away half the stress right there.
Yeah, it can really change the day.
So let's make sure we get as many of those diversions as possible this year. We are inside Santa's Village right now at UTC Mall. Come out. You need your gifts wrapped anyways. Our volunteers will do it for you. You make a donation. It'll go to get those games and those toys and fill up those playrooms. And, the toys are used in so many different ways. A lot of times, the first thing you think of is boredom. It's a kid, they're bored, you give them a toy. But it's also interaction. Their sibling is there. You mentioned having 3 kids. The brother or sister is there. Sometimes it's a bribe. I don't want to take my medicine today or do my treatment. There are so many ways these toys make a difference to a kid when they're at Rady, and Rady is awesome. So we thank you, Erin, for joining us, and we hope you'll join us out here at Westville. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
And that's why we do this every year. We're so glad to be doing it again. And because every toy, every game makes a difference to a kid, whether it's kind of serious, like the last story we heard, or very serious, or even not so serious. All kinds of stories go into Rady. But for every kid, walking into a hospital is a scary thing. And the ability to hand them a toy or a diversion, a book, a video game makes a huge difference.
We have a friend here visiting, getting some gifts wrapped. And I was just talking to her about her experiences with Rady. She has a child of her own, and she also said her sister-in-law has a 2-year-old, and they've been to Rady probably 10 times.
Yeah.
And he's only 2 years old.
Yeah.
It's hard to find somebody in San Diego or with connections to San Diego that doesn't have a Rady story.
True.
And some of them are more serious than others. That this 2-year-old has been there for bumps and bruises and x-rays numerous times. But the experience is always the same. It's a pleasant one, which you don't expect. Your child's going to the hospital. You think that's going to be all terrible, but somehow you end up leaving going, you know what? That wasn't that bad. Yeah. And the kid doesn't think it's that bad. And they, in most cases, kind of had fun.
And in many cases they do. These donations make that possible. And we really appreciate you making them while we're out here. Again, we've kind of given up on, maybe having the busiest day at the mall because there's a massive downpour right now, but we can make up for that with lots of online donating, and that can be done at allinsandiego.com. Click on donate. And if you come out here and you give on behalf of your business, like Crossroads Deli yesterday, like Kickforce Martial Arts yesterday, we're going to get you on the screen with us and let you plug your business all you want, because we appreciate that as well. So if you want a tax-deductible, awesome donation, we're going to make sure we show you lots of love in exchange for doing it.
And I will say, our friend that's here at the mall today, she said on the plus side, parking was very easy.
Yes.
The line to get coffee, very short.
Yep.
And she's actually one of many who have already come in and gotten their gifts wrapped this morning. We're off to a great start. But she said just the whole experience of coming to the mall on a rainy day, she kind of enjoys it. So it may not be as bad as we're thinking.
I wish we could take phone calls because I love hearing stories that way. We can't interact with you in the comments though. So if you have a story or a question, let us know. Just drop it right in the comments. They come right up on our screen, and we will get to those in a minute. Let us know what you want to talk about. We got 4.5 hours to cover, but we want to thank our friends in local media for helping us get the word out as well. I
know, so nice.
We've had a couple opportunities to go on TV and spread the word about that, including a trip to the 4 on CBS on Friday.
CBS 8 is a proud partner of the Rady Children's Hospital Light the Way campaign to make the season brighter for sick children. And there are a couple of ways you can help. You can visit the Rady Children's Ice Rink at Liberty Station. It's open every day except Christmas Day through January 8th. Or you can visit the UTC Mall, where some familiar faces will be wrapping gifts for donations that all go to kids at Rady Children's. AJ and Sarah from the All in San Diego podcast are here with details on AJ's Kids Gift Wrap Center at UTC. First of all, longtime friends of the show, welcome back.
Thank you for having us back.
Good to see you.
Glad you're here. Okay, AJ, I'm going to start with you. You have made this a focus of yours for how long now?
I did the AJ's Kids Crane for 19 years, where I live in a crane every year and we collect toys for the kids,
We remember you in that crane.
Yes.
But all of these, the money raised and the toys that were donated, all going to kids at Rady Children's Hospital. Why is that an organization so close to your heart?
It started with my doing a radiothon there and just seeing how amazing it was and learning that it is a nonprofit. They raise money all year long, but none of it goes to toys or games. Anytime you go to a playroom and you see toys and games for the kids, those have been donated through the community. So it's an important thing that we do.
It's so great, and I'm so glad year after year you find a unique and creative way to get involved. I know Rady Children's, post-COVID, they're doing things slightly different. They say, okay, pause on the toy donations. What we're going to do is set up a little toy store inside the hospital where the kids can actually go and shop for themselves, and how the public can help is through donations in order to supply the toys at the hospital. Sarah, that's where you guys come in. What are you doing this weekend?
We are going to be at Westfield UTC Mall, and we're going to be doing some gift wrapping. It's complimentary, donation based.
Yes.
Gift wrapping. So come bring all of your holiday gifts and we're going to wrap them for you. There's a bunch of volunteers who are going to be helping out. And if you make a donation, all of that money, 100% of it will go to buy toys, games, arts and crafts, and completely restock the playroom that you were just talking about and the toy store. It all goes to the kids at Rady.
So if I show up with a lawnmower that I bought somebody for Christmas, is this something that you guys can handle wrapping?
Take that to Sarah's line.
Yeah.
In general, take stuff to Sarah's line.
Take that one.
I make no promises.
I'll take that one. We're going to give AJ some gift wrapping lessons before tomorrow. We're going to have a cram session. But yes, for the big items, come to me.
Come to you. Okay,
Yep.
I'll make sure
I'm
to write to Sarah's line for some of those bigger items. All the money, though, AJ raised goes right to Rady Children's, as Sarah mentioned, 100% of the donation.
Yes, a lot of it will fund that toy store you were talking about, and then throughout the year, if a kid's in there on his birthday or if Christmas comes around, they're able to give toys on Christmas. And so we're really stocking up a fund for the next year that hasn't really been stocked, at least by us, in about since 2020, because the pandemic and things. So this is our first live fundraiser in years.
Getting back out there, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so although we're going to be raising donations for Rady Children, should we have a little fun little toy trivia? Can I put you two to the test this afternoon?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to throw out some questions and test your toy knowledge. And let's start with cue the game show music. Yes, very important here. Where were Legos invented? And there are some options here on the screen.
Denmark.
I think I know. Oh, I was going to say Denmark. I actually knew that one.
It's supposed to be hard.
I actually knew that one.
No, I'm on it.
Denmark.
Denmark.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like Denmark is highlighted there. Yes, AJ, you are correct.
All right.
He's trying to look at my sheets here. Okay. What was the first toy advertised on television? Was it the Slinky, the Barbie, Mr. Potato Head, or Silly Putty?
Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm going to go with C, Mr. Potato Head.
I'll go with Slinky. It's just a spring. It must have been invented a long time ago.
No, Sarah, you
Crushing
were
right.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so 2 for 2 for Sarah, and AJ, you're one for 2.
One each, yes.
Let's give you another one here. Play-Doh was originally invented for what purpose? For caulking, for cleaning wallpaper, for sculpting, or for a general adhesive?
I'll say caulking. It makes sense, right? Yes.
You just wanted to say caulking.
Yes.
I'm going to go with cleaning wallpaper.
Cleaning wallpaper. Okay, let's see which one it is going to be here. Cleaning wallpaper. What?
I thought AJ was going to smoke me in this game.
That's
this is
Cleaning
exciting.
wallpaper.
A bad inventor that accidentally invented it.
With Play-Doh?
Yeah.
Wow, all right. I thought it was for getting stuck in your carpet and driving mom crazy.
That too. Yeah.
Okay, number 4. What 1970s toy made the inventor $1 million in 6 months? Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Pet Rock.
The Light Bright. Stretch Armstrong or a Pet Rock?
Oh, you got a little braggy. I'm getting competitive now.
Okay, I think he was supposed to wait until the question was done, but I will go with Light Bright, even though I think he's right.
Okay, let's see. Pet Rock?
Right.
Okay.
Pet Rock.
I know, I'm intimidated.
Wow, okay, so was that a tie for the two of you?
That was a tie.
We'll call
That's
it a tie.
Okay, good. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for what you're doing. Again, one more time, where can folks find you tomorrow at the mall?
We're inside Santa's Workshop, which is kind of right in the middle of the UTC Mall by the fountain. And we're going to be out there all weekend long, but the event goes through the 23rd. So anytime in the next 2 weeks, you can come out and get your gift wrap, and I'll go help the kids.
Okay, fantastic. And where do we find your podcast, Sarah?
All in San Diego on Instagram, All in SD Podcast. That's the best place, and all the details about the fundraiser will be there as well.
All right, you guys, thanks again. Thanks for doing what you do for kids at Rady Children's. We do appreciate it.
Wallpaper cleaner.
I think it was a tie.
Lucky guess.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got a little aggressive on that last question.
No.
We're getting real competitive.
No, we're very comfortable. I think we're maybe a little too comfortable on the set of the 4. Those are our buddies, and they've always been so good to us, and we've known them for years. So I think we got a little comfortable on that set. Yes.
Yeah, but we appreciate them so much because we're so blessed to have the audience we've built for the All in San Diego podcast. We thank everyone that listens. It's still not quite the same as having a giant radio group behind you and multiple radio stations that will help plug it. And so that's our challenge this year, is getting the word out. And TV stations like CBS have been very helpful. So that is awesome.
You know why is because everybody loves Rady. I mean, if we were going on to promote something that had to do with us or like something personal, we're like, oh, I don't know, our show's full on Friday.
Yeah.
But when you bring up Rady, they're I'm in. Everybody's always all in when it has to do with the kids at the hospital.
And they are because like it's already been brought up several times. Everyone's got a Rady experience for the most part, and they know how important of a resource it is for San Diego. So if you're joining us now, if you're just tuning in, we're in the gift shop center and inside Santa's workshop. Now the Santa pictures here at Westfield UTC, top notch. You're not going to but Santa's still got to make a living. So you got to, those are a separate thing. You book those online. The gift wrap is donation based. You come, you bring all those gifts that you've already bought, have them wrapped. They're going to look better than you're wrapping. I'm guessing. Maybe you're super good, but if you're not super good, you're not as good as these volunteers. They're amazing. And you make a donation that goes to help the kids at Rady.
And the donation doesn't have to be huge. Of course, we will gladly accept huge, massive donations.
Yeah, actually, huge is preferred. But everything's appreciated.
But everything's appreciated. And we're kind of figuring, if you go to Target and you buy a roll of wrapping paper, I mean, the nice rolls are like $5 these days.
Yeah.
It's not what it used to be. Inflation has affected even gift wrap. So you're donate $5, that goes to buy a toy for the kids at Rady Children's Hospital. You get your gift wrapped. I mean, it all evens out. I would rather spend my money donating to Rady Children's than a roll of gift wrap that's going to sit in my closet after all this.
Yeah, and by the way, the $5 Target gift wrap isn't as high. This is like nice. I feel like this is gift wrap from 10 years ago.
It's the thick stuff,
They got the good stuff.
Like sometimes you get those cheap rolls.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take a deep dive into wrapping paper, but not to get me started
She's
about the quality of wrapping paper.
She's watching the volunteers gift wrap like it's a Super Bowl.
I love it. I love it. They all have their own techniques.
Yes.
But some of the gift wrap, if you get, you're like, oh, $3, but it's really thin and you can see the gift through the wrapping. So I'm just saying this is the quality stuff.
When we went to, I want to address something right now, Sarah. When we went to CBS to record that video we just played, Heather Meyer's like, you didn't really live in the crane all the time, right? You went home and showered.
Oh, this is always the question.
All the time. And I want you to know, I never got down from the crane once.
This is like you're setting the record straight right now.
And quite frankly, I regret it because everyone thinks I did anyways. I should have gone home.
Even I thought you did before we started working together. Because I'm like, I'm in radio. I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as everybody leaves, he probably creeps down from the crane and at least walks around. I thought at least you would come down at night.
Nope.
And like once the street team went home and like all the last people from the IKEA parking lot left, I thought for sure you came down, stretched your legs. Who could blame you?
Yep. And
then we started working together and I experienced my first full-blown crane in the IKEA parking lot.
Yes.
And I was like, well, hot damn, this guy does not get down from the crane.
Stormed on.
I know.
Rained on. Attacked by bees one year.
What?
That's a thing.
Wait, what do you mean attacked?
There were bees in right when I went up, there was like a nest of bees that got agitated by me going up. And they were like attacking me.
They're like, what are you doing up here?
Got sick. The doctor came and got in the crane and checked me out and gave me antibiotics. Never got down. And yet everyone assumes I did. Yes, everyone assumes I did. So
and food would go up in a bucket. I mean, all of that is true.
Yes.
But I thought it was a show for the daytime.
Nope, 24/7.
I know it
for 19 years. But
believe people.
Let it go on the record that I never cheated, and I probably should have because everyone assumes I did. But now we're doing this thing where it's like we're in a warm gift wrap center. It's delightful, and it's still so going to the same important cause: the kids at Rady Children's Hospital, specifically the AJ's Kids Fund, which for 20 years has just purchased toys, games, books, video games, stuff for the playroom, things for parties, things to make the experience at Rady a little less scary and a little more fun.
And don't you think in years past, once the crane got going and you knew it was going to, be a pretty good success year after year, you kind of got comfortable, not complacent, but like, okay, the fund is nice and padded.
Yeah.
We're going to have plenty for the next year. Well, over the last 3 years, it's just dwindled and we haven't been able to replenish it. So this year is extra important.
It's extra important and extra challenging. Like we said, we don't have a full radio company behind us. We're at a mall, an outdoor mall, and it's raining. We have issues.
But keeping it positive, there are some things that are actually really great about maybe not being connected to a big giant company where there are all these rules. We have been able to be a lot more involved, and we're able to have our friends that are on other media platforms come and help us. There's one here right now, and I'm going to see if I can like drag her over here in a second, but I don't want to put her on the spot because the camera's on too. It makes it a little more daunting if you're not camera ready, but
a good friend.
I know it's really cool that we can connect with all the people that we've worked with over the years that maybe worked on a different radio station and wanted to support us, but
weren't allowed.
Couldn't even post about it on their personal social media. So
yes. And most importantly, we're able to reach you right now. If you're watching, we love you for doing it. And we'd love to see you here. The rain actually,
I know it's just misting now. It's not a big deal.
I'm not going to lie. It's still pretty raining. I was going to try to, it's still pretty rainy, but that means shorter lines, tables at the food court, parking, going to be VIP, very wet and VIP.
Very wet and VIP. Now you just need one of those big like golf umbrellas, the golf ones. Mm-hmm. Oh, look, we got that's so nice. My husband commenting that
someone said something super nice. I'm like, oh, it's Sarah's husband.
Oh, it's my husband.
We'll take it.
We look and sound amazing. Like not just sound amazing. I mean,
well, yesterday was a challenge. I wore a lot of hats in my radio days, but engineer wasn't one of them. And so I have to figure everything technical out now. And we only had one microphone yesterday, and it was embarrassing.
It's kind of funny.
I felt like people were watching going, podcasting must be rough. They can only afford one microphone.
One target mic.
I got here early today and I figured it all out. So thanks for letting us know that, Ryan. We appreciate it.
Ryan.
Yeah, we really do. And we're so happy people are coming in. Gifts are getting wrapped. Your donations are hopefully going online at allinsandiego.com. Just click donate. You can do it right there. And we're going to tell you over the next however long you hang out with us about a lot of really cool things these toys do. One of the coolest things is an event that's happening in just over a week at Rady, and it's only made possible by donations like the ones we're asking you to make right now. Joining us now is the Vice President of Philanthropy for Rady Children's Hospital, Alex Locher. Thanks for coming on with us, Alex.
Thank you for having me.
Hey.
Well, thank you for doing what you do. We're raising money here at Santa's workshop to fill up the AJ's Kids Fund, which for 20 years has gone to toys, games, playrooms, all the fun stuff. And one of the fun things that is going to be helped through these efforts this year is the toy store that's coming up. Explain what that is.
The toy store is one of the most heartwarming moments of our holiday season. Parents and caregivers are invited to come to a beautiful setup and select special gifts for their kids. They're all free thanks to the generosity of our donors and to AJ's Kids Fund. And they get wrapped. The parents get a little uplifting gifts for themselves and get to go back and have that wonderful child-parent bonding moment of giving them to them either that day if they want, or they can wait until Christmas morning or whichever holiday they celebrate. Every kid that way is sure to have a gift. It's amazing.
That is so cool. That experience they would otherwise be missing out on that we all love is shopping for a gift during the holidays. Where is this set up? How is this done?
It's set up outside the hospital. It's actually a really nice setting. It takes a 100-foot walk so that the parents kind of have that privacy in case it's a surprise, because as you know, the income levels vary greatly. We treat all San Diegans, and so sometimes this is that gift for their child, and we don't want them to see it until the parent or caregiver is ready.
And financials aside, we've heard from so many families where the parents are, you're just sort of in another world when your child is going through something at Rady Children's Hospital. This is giving them that normalcy where they get to go shopping and gift their child without having to leave the hospital and think about all the logistics of buying a gift and all that good stuff.
Exactly. It's such an important point, and one that we'll often have a parent who asks if they can wrap the gift themselves, which of course they can. And every year we get a few of those, and we all feel it. That is such a normal thing that you get to do as a service for your child. And parents have such a struggle with not being able to do the things that their kids need when they're in the hospital. Often it must be a medical provider who's doing something very important. And so this is something they can do. And that part is wonderful as well.
You must be one of the busiest women in San Diego being in charge of philanthropy for Rady Children's, because that is a constant effort year round. You're raising money to keep the lights on and keep serving San Diego's kids. And we're so happy to be a part of the toy store, but let's talk about the other fun things like the toys and the games. Those things make a big difference year round for patients when they're at the hospital, right?
They absolutely do. I mean, when a child gets to ring a bell at the completion of their cancer treatments, when it's their birthday, again, we have to do those things, and insurance will never cover an ounce of it. And our San Diego community gets to do that for us. So it's really a special thing. And diversion and enrichment in hospital settings are what makes it a children's hospital. You can't do that without philanthropy.
Oh, that's so beautiful to think about. I love that. We're so excited that we get to be a part of it this year. And it's been a few years since we've been able to do this in person, live and in person. So we are really hoping to make this the best year yet.
When she says community, she's talking about you. And whether it's through this drive or another effort, these things don't happen without you guys. So if you can come out and see us, we're at the UTC Mall inside Santa's Workshop. You get your gifts wrapped, make a donation. That's going to go to all this amazing stuff. You can make a donation online as well. Whatever you do is super appreciated and makes a big difference. Alex, thanks so much for taking some time to join us. Thanks for everything you do.
Thank you.
How about that? Full-on store set up at the hospital where the kids can go and shop for their parents. The parents can go and shop for their kids, and everything can be gift wrapped for them. You want to talk about changing someone's holiday season when they're going through something at Rady? That's amazing, and it's only made possible by donations. There's no fund for it at the hospital. That's why we do this every year. So come out and see us. Get your gifts wrapped. It's kind of quiet here right now, so you'd be in and out. And when I say here, I mean Westfield UTC. We're inside Santa's Workshop at the Gift Wrap Center. You can get your gifts wrapped, make a donation in the size of your choice, and it'll all go to that fund. Or you can go online to allinsandiego.com and click on donate. Can we take a minute and give a little bit of love to Westfield UTC?
I know, it's the best. They're the best. They're kind of our dream partners. We've worked with some really great people in the past, but when we found out that we were going to have the opportunity to work with them this year, I mean, we both were pretty excited about the prospect.
It's a really, first of all, they do Christmas like no one else. The decorations and the spirit they have, the music and the best Santa in the world and the events they put on. It should be on your holiday bucket list to do a little shopping at Westfield UTC. But I also like that it's a mall that doesn't have any mall stores in it, right? Like if you go to most malls, it's all the same. What's up, Foot Locker? Hi, Spencer's Gifts.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah. Where's Hot Topic?
Perfect. I need a weed banner to hang in my house.
There are some mall stores. They're probably just not the ones that you would go to. You see a weed banner?
Yeah, they always have like a flag with a leaf on it.
Yeah, something glow in the dark that only works with a black light.
Yeah.
They have beautiful stores. Some of them are small boutique type shops. They have a few of the fancy schmancies that I gotta admit are a little bit out of my price point. But if that's your thing, there's kind of like a corridor of all of the prestige brands over there. But, there's some mall stores. They're just different mall stores than when we were kids, probably.
Sure.
Sephora, Gap.
I wasn't trying to overstate the no mall store thing. I was just saying it doesn't feel like a cookie cutter mall in any way.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Sorry. No, you're right. That's absolutely true.
You, lady.
That's absolutely true. And it gives you that like mall experience where we don't always get that anymore because we just sit at home and shop from our computer, but it's fun to walk around. It's fun to see the stuff actually in person and try it on and not have to return it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So, a little motivation to maybe get out here and spend some time. It is actually, this rain is slowing down, but more importantly, you can have probably a less crowded situation, come out and shop. Then you can bring the gifts right here, get them gift wrapped, boom, make that donation. And, you knocked off three things: shopping, gift wrapping, and donating.
Perfect. And if you can't make it out here, we understand. You can donate online. You can go to allinsandiego.com and we link you up there. And I'm going to post something on our post more on our Instagram in just a second, but it's in our stories right now. If you look at All In SD Podcast,
Yes.
there's a link to donate. If you're on your phone, super easy. Every dollar counts. Super cliche, but it's true.
It's true. And shout out to the absolute saints that are doing the volunteering, because they're almost all employees of Rady. So in other words, they spend all week doing their job at the hospital, and then they get their weekend and they come volunteer to raise money for the hospital they work at. That's amazing. And they do a really amazing job. I can't overstate how great your gifts are going to look if you come see us.
And they're doing it with so much joy.
Yeah.
I actually think they're the most happy when they're helping someone wrap their gifts.
Yes.
There's a little bit of downtime here, but when they're wrapping a gift, they're laughing and smiling, and they're so excited about being able to help. Awesome people, angels on earth.
Yes, and this effort, I don't want you to feel pressure. You might be getting ready to watch some football. I don't know your life, but I will say this: we're doing this until December 23rd. So if you want to just get back to your Sunday and just make plans for when you have all your gifts purchased. And when you're ready to come get that done, just make sure you plan to do it here. It's a good way of getting something done that you need to check off your list anyways, and have the donation go to a great cause.
Whether you have one gift too, I want to say whether you have one gift or you have a big black trash bag full of gifts, it's all fine. It's all totally fine. Bring it. Bring it on.
Bring it on.
They want to do it.
Doesn't have to be purchased at Westfield UTC. Bring the stuff you've already got. Bring your kids homemade crafts they want to give to grandma. Those can get wrapped too. And we want to see you here, or we'd love to have you make that donation online at allinsandiego.com. Click donate. And look, one thing we've learned over the years is we can talk into these microphones all day long, but what really moves the needle is the stories from the people who have been at Rady. And this is Karina telling the story of her son. Carrie, thank you for taking the time to join us.
My pleasure.
Let's just dive right in with your Rady story. I know it involves your son, Alex, and start from the beginning. How did you end up being part of the Rady family?
Yeah, in October 2019, our son Alex was diagnosed with childhood cancer, leukemia. And that was, it was October, right before Halloween, which is his favorite time of year. So that was obviously very scary and sad time. And going into the holidays, of course, that's just makes those holiday December even worse. But yeah, we were so lucky to be at Rady and to have access to those amazing doctors and nurses and support. And it's been a blessing for us, for sure.
Well, the people at Rady have told us that Alex is quite a fighter and quite a little tough guy. He has been in and out. You get your treatments and your appointments. Has he ever enjoyed a toy or a game or the playrooms as a distraction when he's there?
100%. Yeah, countless times. I can't even. So I'm smiling today because he's almost a year off chemo. December 31st will be
that's amazing.
1 year off of treatment.
Wonderful.
And he's doing really well. But it was over 800 days of chemotherapy every single day.
Oh my God.
So it was really a struggle. And he was diagnosed at 3.5 years old. So of course that was really scary time. And he didn't understand what was going on. None of us did. And you're just kind of thrust into this, like, there's no time to even comprehend what's happening. You just have to get started, get treatment right away. So being inpatient and being in the hospital, that playroom was such a important source of joy and a distraction for him. When the child life specialist can bring in a toy or a gift, it's just like, it's amazing how that brightens their day. Just some little new novel thing gives them something else to focus on. So I can't express enough gratitude for all of the gifts, and just that playroom in general was really important to the kids.
AJ, I think you probably had the same reaction as me. I saw it on your face. 800 days, Carrie.
Yeah.
800 days is hard as a parent to wrap my brain around, and you lived it. I imagine there was some relief for you as well when a toy, a game, and arts or crafts, something, he got a break from that daily chemotherapy. What was that like as a parent? I can't even imagine.
I don't even know if I can describe it. It's really just as bad as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty awful. It's just, you want to take it for them, you know, and you want to relieve their pain and relieve their anxiety. And like you said, he is a trooper. He's a fighter. I call him my linebacker. He's my youngest son. I have two. He's just headstrong right through it. You know, it wasn't so much the medication that bothered him. It was just the loss of control and just kind of the loss of childhood and friends and socialization. That was the hardest part.
Yeah, they do a wonderful job creating the best environment they can, but I've been in there with families and with patients, and time just moves a little bit slower, you know, because you're just in that one room and it's like, oh my gosh, it's only 1 o'clock today. And so every bit of diversion and distraction, I think, is super valuable. You actually mentioned that he went in right before Halloween and, you know, the December holidays right after that. One of the things that these toys enable Rady to do is kind of create a little bit of a Halloween atmosphere, and certainly for Christmas, have a few gifts that the kids can wake up to. Did he ever experience, you know, those things when he was in for holiday?
Yes. I mean, I explicitly remember the Halloween. We got to go out onto the beautiful patio, and there was just tables and tables of costumes for them to choose from and arts and crafts for them to do. That was a wonderful distraction. And then at Christmas, that first Christmas, he got to see Santa, and Santa had this huge sack of toys, and they just kept coming, you know. Just, I think we went home with a trash bag, a garden like trash
amazing
bag filled with blankets and stuffies and toys and things to unwrap. And you know what else they always never forget is the siblings, and that is such a huge part of it too. There's a significant loss of normal life for the siblings as well. They're not taking the medication and they're not sick, but it's mentally hard on them too. And I so appreciate that they would always think of Big Brother as well, and that made a big difference in his life.
And as the parent, I know it's not, life isn't normal. You're not just running out to Target to even get things like birthday presents. And that's another thing that these toys, where they come in handy, as if a kid's in there and it's his birthday, the child life specialists show up with presents and, you know, either relieve the parents of that responsibility, or it's just an addition. And they, you know, birthdays are important to kids. And the funds we're raising kind of make all of these things happen when they're out in the hospital, right?
Yes, it's a big financial burden and a mental burden. You forget. You don't know what day it is. You wake up in the hospital day after day. You're sleeping on the couch or in the bed, and you lose track. So having somebody else take that little bit of load off of our brain was just as valuable.
All of these stories are touching. Something about Carrie's made me really, I'm like fighting back the tears, but that's why we are so excited for the first time since 2019 to be able to do this in person, replenish that toy stash. I'm sure it's dwindling by this point. And so we hope everybody will come out, take advantage of our donation-based gift wrapping. You got to do it anyway, right? Might as well have somebody else wrap all your gifts. We'll be at Westfield UTC in Santa's workshop. Come get your gifts wrapped, make a donation that's going to make a huge difference like it did for Carrie's son, Alex.
And every penny goes to the AJ's Kids Fund, which is just for the fun stuff, because Rady's a nonprofit. They're raising millions of dollars all year long, but it's not for the toys and the games and the Christmases and the birthdays. The community's got to rally for this. And so that's what we're doing right now. Come see us and make a donation for San Diego's kids.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Carrie.
You know what is amazing, and I'm getting reminded of it every year. I mean, you drive by Rady, it's gigantic, right? I mean, I can't even wrap my brain around how many patients they have go through there in the course of a year. But it feels like everyone who works there knows every kid. You know, because we've had people from Rady go, "Oh, you did a package on Alex? How's he doing?"
Yeah.
"Oh, someone told me you were going to talk to Patrick's mom. How was that?" It's like, how do you know all the kids? That's an amazing.
Because it's a family.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like every kid impacts the employees there. I have a friend who we haven't talked to, but she works for Rady, and she was saying the same thing. She said sometimes if, you know, there isn't a child life specialist nearby, or we know that like a kid, I mean, they always are, but if this is like a special case where they've really bonded with the family, or they just know in particular this kid needs a toy, she says they go out and buy stuff with their own money.
Yeah.
They go to the store and they buy stuff with their own money, just like teachers do.
Yeah.
Teachers, nurses, child life specialists, doctors, like they all have the same heart where it doesn't matter that the money's coming out of their own pocket. They just want to see the kids smile.
Right.
And they make these connections with the kids, and they don't want to let them down. They want to see them smile. And so you can help by donating a few dollars. It'll go to buy toys for the kids at Rady. I mean, every cent of it. That's what's really unique about AJ's Kids Fund.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking as you're talking about. And it is amazing that they're willing to go out and buy a little something for a kid out of their own pocket, but they shouldn't have to.
Right.
That's why we're doing this. So they should be able to just go into, our fund and dip into it and get what is going to turn that kid's day around. And look, if you're a parent and you haven't had kids homesick from school in the last 3 or 4 months, congratulations, you won the lottery.
You're the only one.
Because look, I mean, there's so many things going around, right? So both of my girls have been home from school, and day one's a party. Dad, will you get me some popsicles? And I'm going to watch this. And by day 2, they're already like, this isn't so fun anymore. And by day 3, they're excited to go back to school because it's just not fun to be sick. It's just not. And I look at that. When they're at home with all of their own stuff and all of their own video, Netflix shows they want to watch. And it's still, after a few days, the party's over. And you think about a kid who's going to be in there for a lot longer than that at Rady's having some treatment, and the party's over after 3 days. It comes upon everyone to make sure that doesn't happen and that it stays fun and interesting. And a new video game shows up to play.
Yeah.
A new game comes to the room so they can play with their brother or sister. It really is. Like if the average kid gets tired of being sick after a few days, imagine a few weeks or a few months or 800 days. Like
800 days. I still am as shocked by that number as I was when we first spoke to them. 800 days.
Yeah.
It seems impossible.
Yeah.
That you would come out on the other side of that. But they did.
Yes.
And that's because of the amazing doctors, specialists, nurses at Rady Children's Hospital. And once you go there with your own family, it's hard to wrap your brain around what it feels like to be there. Of course, you would imagine, it sounds stressful.
Yeah.
It sounds, horrible for the kid, for the whole family. But then once you go and you experience it with one of your kids, with your own family, I feel like you leave with this sense of how can I pay it forward?
Yeah.
That was way more pleasant because of the doctors, nurses, and child life specialists than I ever imagined it could be. Still horrible to be there, but they make it okay. Yeah. How can I pay it forward? And this is your chance to do that.
Absolutely. And we've made it, you get a reward if you come see us because you get all your gifts wrapped for the donation size of your choice, or you just get the reward of feeling good that you helped by making that donation online, which you can do at allinsandiego.com. Click on donate. Here's a little quick package about the history of the crane and why we're doing this year.
Hey, it's AJ and Sarah, and we've got something we're very excited to share with you. For the first time since 2019, the AJ's Kids Crane for Rady Children's Hospital is back. Kind of.
Yeah, a lot has changed over the last few years, and the hospital isn't accepting actual toys right now, so we've made some changes too. We're teaming up with our absolute dream partner so we can assure that we raise as much money for Rady as possible. All In San Diego is proud to present Santa's Workshop in Westfield UTC Mall.
So you're invited to come out and have all your holiday gifts wrapped by our awesome volunteers. It's donation-based, and any donation you make will go straight to the AJ's Kids Fund, which has, by the way, exclusively provided toys, games, and fun to the patients at Rady since 2002.
We'll be posted up inside Santa's Workshop, so yeah, we're teaming up with frickin' Santa.
Yeah.
You'll find it pretty much in the center of the mall, near the clock tower and the fountain, right across from Sephora. Now, depending on when you come out, you might just have Sarah or I wrap your gifts ourselves, and we'll be podcasting live on December 10th and 11th.
So we hope you'll plan on stopping by Santa's Workshop at UTC Mall sometime between December 9th and December 24th. You can follow us on Instagram for all the updates and details at All In SD Podcast. We hope you'll help us make this the best year yet.
And this is it. We're here until 5:00. So hang with us on your whatever screen you're looking at, or come see us. But this goes on until the 23rd. So you've got time. We'd love you to give today. We obviously are challenged by the rain. But
I don't think it's that bad. It's actually busier in here in Santa's Workshop than I thought it would be. Because what you can do is you can make an appointment to get your photos taken with Santa. You can do that online. Yeah. You can take care of making your appointment online. That part is not complimentary because, Santa's running. I mean, he's got a toy shop to a workshop to run. But the donation-based gift wrapping is in the same space. So once you make your appointment to have your photos taken with Santa, while you're doing that, you can drop off your gifts to get wrapped. By the time you're done, your gifts will be done too.
There you go. It sounds like an awesome plan and a way to refill a fund that desperately needs refilling. It bears saying again and again that we haven't raised a lot of money in the last 3 years, but we have spent a lot, or the hospital has spent a lot out of the fund, which we're so happy they were able to do that. But we got to fill it back up.
And I actually saw Santa getting ready. He gets in the zone a little bit.
Yeah.
Before he comes out here, like an athlete, seriously.
Yeah. And joking aside, you're gonna get the best.
It's a beautiful setup. It is.
And
it's a beautiful setup.
And you're gonna have a great time. Get those gifts wrapped and make a big difference for the kids at the hospital. We want to thank our friends in local media who have let us come on and spread the word about this, because every eyeball counts. We were lucky enough to go on KUSI the other day.
Well, for years, AJ and Sarah have been collecting toys during the holiday season to donate to Rady Children's Hospital. And this year, their efforts continue with Santa's Workshop at Westfield UTC. Here to share more, our co-host of the All in San Diego podcast, AJ Machado and Sarah Perry. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. This must be a very exciting time of the year for you both. Tell us what this means to you.
Well, it's super exciting because we did the AJ's Kids Crane for 19 years on the radio, and then COVID hit, and we haven't been able to do something live since. So this is the first time we've been able to do something live. We did have to change it up because Rady is not collecting actual toys anymore for the time being. So we're just raising money at UTC with Santa's Workshop.
And then, Sarah, how many years have you guys been doing this, raising money and bringing toys to the children at Rady Children's?
AJ, almost 2 decades, and he used to have to go sit up in a crane for, 10, 12 days. So
okay, I want to hear more about that.
Yeah, we're going to keep him on the ground this year. So
yes.
Tell us about those days.
It was wild. It started as a pretty small toy drive, and it grew over time to the point where we had Lady Gaga out there, and a bunch of different really famous actors would come out and help collect the toys. And the important thing was it made a huge difference to the kids at Rady. So we're so glad we're able to do it again. And we are raising money this time, but it's going to go to buy the toys.
So tell us how people can get involved with this.
Yeah, that's what's really special about this toy drive is all the money raised goes exactly for purchasing toys for the kids. And this year it's going to be at Westfield UTC. We're going to be right there, right by Santa Claus in Santa's Workshop. You can come out and get your gifts wrapped. It's a donation-based complimentary gift wrapping. And all the money raised, all of it goes to the kids at Rady Children's Hospital. Games, toys, arts and crafts to keep them busy while they're there for their stay.
Can you share some of the stories with us from previous years and why this is so special to so many kids in the community?
Well, like the guests that were here before us were talking about, I believe his name was Miles, was saying it is, you don't think about how boring it is to be at the hospital. You think of a lot of other things, but kids need some kind of entertainment, and these toys and games make a big difference all year round. And not just day in and day out, but if a kid's in there on their birthday, a lot of times the parents don't have time to go out and make their birthday special, or a holidays, they're able to go and make Christmas happen for the kids. So they've had a big impact over the years, and that's why it's so important we can kind of replenish the fund and keep this going.
What does this mean to you, Sarah?
I think almost every San Diegan has some sort of connection to Rady Children's Hospital, whether it's your own child, a neighbor, a grandchild. And we've all experienced what it's like. It's a scary time, it's stressful, and the look on the child's face when a nurse walks in with a brand new toy just for them, it can turn their entire day around. It really makes a huge impact, even a small donation. So this all starts on December 9th, and it runs through the 24th. It runs through Christmas Eve. Please, please come get your gifts wrapped, and you might as well. Someone will take care of all the gift wrapping for you, and the money goes to a beautiful cause.
Yeah.
Okay, so when someone does donate the money to the cause so you guys can go buy the toys,
yes,
that's what you're asking for. You're not asking for someone to show up with a brand new bike.
Right.
And
no.
then
Unfortunately, no. That's what we used to do, but for the time being, we used to collect toys and money. Now it's just money. Since COVID, they don't know if that's ever going to change. But that's a policy right now. But yeah, come out. Everyone needs to get their gifts wrapped, right? Get that out of the way. Make a donation. You'll feel great. It'll help the hospital. We're going to be doing a potathon this weekend, Saturday and Sunday.
A potathon. Is
that what we're calling it?
I guess so. Yeah,
That's the first I've heard of potathon.
We'll be streaming our show live and putting it over social media. So if you want to hang out with us, come out then. And if you come out sporadically throughout the 2 weeks, we may actually be wrapping your gifts for you. I make no promises about the quality of my gift wrapping.
Are you a good rapper?
Come to my station.
Yeah, come see her. I'll be cheering her on.
She's going to have a long line at her station. You're going to be so lonely.
Yes, absolutely. I'll be practicing between now and then, watching some YouTube videos.
You will.
Where can people go to find more information? It's December 9th.
Yeah, we're going to be keeping you guys updated on our Instagram account at All In SD Podcast. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search for All In San Diego. We're on YouTube. We're all these places, but Instagram is probably the best place to go at All In SD Podcast.
Anything else you want to add?
We hope to see everybody out there. Let's do it for the kids this year.
Let's do it for the kids.
It's going to take a lot to make up for the last few years of not doing it.
It's going to be a very special holiday season. Thank you so much for joining us. Pleasure to meet you both.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks again to KUSI for helping us spread the word. And that's one of our biggest challenges is spreading the word. And if you're watching right now, thank you. Tell a friend. If you can't come see us or donate, maybe just post on Facebook, hey, have you heard about this thing? Because we're a long way from where we need to be to set the kids up for 2023. This is not a fundraiser for us to just roll in on Christmas and give out toys, although it does fund that. That does happen, but that is a fraction of what this fundraiser does. All through next year, if a kid, whether, they're either just bored and they need a toy, obviously that's something they do, but maybe their birthday has rolled around. And that's one of the things you don't think about is, we talked to someone earlier who was child was getting chemo for 800 days. That's in and of itself such a handful, but mom and dad can't just shut down their lives. They're gotta get, maintain their jobs, make the family. There are siblings that need to get to school every day.
It affects the whole family.
And so, yeah, something like a birthday can come up and you go, oh my gosh, how am I going to get to the store to even buy birthday presents for my kid? And then the child life specialists at Rady are able to say, we got it, and hand them the gift for their kid because you guys give to this every year.
If you've ever been to Rady with your child, even if it's for a very short stay, you feel like you're having an out-of-body experience almost, especially if it's an emergency type situation.
Yeah.
So you may not even realize what day it is. I mean, some of these kids spend so many months in there that Christmas passes them by. They go through Halloween, they go through Christmas, they go through New Year, they go through Valentine's Day. But child life specialists are there to make sure that those moments don't get missed.
Yeah.
And so that there's a little bit of normalcy and it breaks that grueling routine of hospital life.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the most important roles they play. And it does take the weight off the parents. Even if you know that your child's birthday is coming up, you may not be able to just run down the store, down the street to the store and pick something up, and they're there for you. So it isn't just about the holidays, although that is part of it. They do give out toys during the holidays, but maybe your child needs a blood draw, or they need to, send them in for a CT scan and they're super scared, but they get a little toy and it takes their mind off of it. And the doctors and nurses are able to do their work.
Or they get good medical news and there's something to celebrate.
Oh, yeah. Let's not forget about that.
And I 19 years we did the crane. I never knew this, but they even give gifts when the kids ring the bell because they've beat their cancer. What if the ultimate thing to celebrate, right?
Awesome.
What an amazing thing to be able to give to our community's kids. And we as a community, not as this podcast or this one fund, but as a community are responsible for it because the hospital does not have funds for silly things in the big picture, seemingly like toys, and compared to the medicine and the treatment and stuff, that's what all the money is earmarked for. So whether it's a toy, a game, something in a playroom, it came from the community. May not have come from us, but it came from the community, and it won't be there unless we as a community keep giving.
So we would love for you to donate. You can go to allinsandiego.com, or you can find us on Instagram at allinsdpodcast. We have a link in our bio there that you can just click on and donate. Even if it's just a few dollars, we really appreciate it, and it will all go to buy toys for the kids at Rady. Maybe you're not in a position to give monetarily right now, but you can help us spread the word. You can share our story, take a little screenshot, and just spread the word to your friends and family. We would love that too.
And don't take our word for it. Here are some more parents that can tell you how much difference it made for their children. Rachel and Andre, thank you for coming on with us.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Well, why don't we just dive in with your story? Tell us how Rady has been a part of your family's life.
Absolutely. So we're the parents of 3 daughters. And when our middle daughter, Olivia, was 2 years old, she started having kind of like some alarming symptoms. And we weren't really sure what was going on with her. And it was kind of strange because a lot of the things you would, probably correlate with a child that has like a stomach bug or maybe has a cold or an ear infection. And so the symptoms started to linger a little while. And what ended up happening is on 4th of July, we rushed our daughter to Rady Children's Hospital, the emergency. And after a series of tests, we learned that our daughter had a brain tumor. And so it really started us on this whole crazy journey with our daughter, Olivia. She was admitted to the hospital at that point. She underwent multiple surgeries, brain surgeries within that first week of being in the hospital. And then we learned even more devastating news was that it was actually a cancerous brain tumor. And so we literally lived at Rady Children's Hospital with our daughter. I think our first stint was 3 months before we ever went home. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Focused on her treatment, focused on trying to get her better and just to regain some of mobility and function that she had lost with some of the very aggressive surgeries that she underwent.
And you mentioned that you already had another daughter at the time. When something like this happens, a lot of people think about the patient and the parents, but your older daughter probably also had to spend a lot of time at the hospital. This affects the entire family.
It really does. And, at the time I was actually 6 months pregnant with our third child. She hadn't even been born yet.
Oh my gosh.
My oldest daughter to go into kindergarten. So it was this crazy time where, these things that should have been like really exciting and really celebrated, our focus really had to be elsewhere. And so that's one of the incredible things about Rady Children's is they have Child Life, which really came alongside us and helped us to have these really difficult conversations with a 5-year-old, trying to explain what was going on with her younger sister. And also just very supportive when doctors would come into the hospital room and we'd have to have conversations. Child Life would come with them and play with our daughter Amaya, or they would take her to the playroom. And so there was just really, really great resources for us so we could kind of manage what was going on with our sick kiddo, and then also the needs of our older daughter, and then our younger one as she came on the scene.
Yeah, and when she says Child Life, we're talking about Child Life specialists, people whose whole job at the hospital is to help with those difficult conversations or make sure people understand what's going on to make being there a more pleasant experience. And it's an amazing part of what they do over at Rady.
It really is. It really is. I mean, I can think of like a specific example when we were having to have like difficult conversations and gain understanding for what was going on with our daughter and have to make some difficult choices. And I remember our child life specialist coming in and bringing like some toys and games to play with Amaya. And then even other times, like going out to the playroom and for our 5-year-old, she's having to go from having a normal kiddo's life and to really just being in the hospital all the time or, around those types of difficult things.
And that is so amazing about exactly what we're doing with this fundraiser right here, because all of the money raised from the donation-based gift wrapping that we're doing goes specifically, it's earmarked to buy toys, games, arts, and crafts for kids like Amaya and everybody else who's there, not only the patient, but their family as well, helping it create sort of a more normal childhood experience, even though you're within the hospital doors.
Yeah, I think that nothing is normal about that time, and everything seems to be high level and high serious. So it's good to have those outlets of just regular things, whether it's reading books, watching a movie, playing video games. And a lot of those resources allow you to interact with the other kids in the other rooms as well, which is what they're missing from a normal child's life. If they would have been at school, they would be interacting with other kids. So it's really one of the only normal things and introduced into a kind of chaotic season.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and again, that's something that there is no budget in the Rady Children's Hospital budget for those toys and games. All their money is going to really important stuff like research and medicine and keeping the lights on. So efforts like these make a big difference, and that's why we hope you'll come out and see us. We are inside Santa's workshop at Westfield UTC. You need to get your gift wrapped anyways. Come get them wrapped, make a donation, and we're going to kind of reload those playrooms and that toy supply for 2023. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story with us, guys.
Thank you.
So it's weird to run an interview emphasizing how important all these toys are, and then we're not collecting toys. That's just
I know.
But we, at the end of the day, all the money we raise is going to toys. But just for the sake of explaining, Rady still isn't accepting toys. They're not. Toy drives aren't a thing for them right now. So, all right, we'll raise a bunch of money and they'll turn that into the same toys and games. And as much as I would love to be stacking up toys behind us because there's something so kind of cool in seeing that, and that's kind of the tradition, there is some real advantages to having it be monetary donations because $10 can be turned into a G.I. Joe or a My Little Pony, right?
Yes.
And there are things that year after year I would say that don't forget the older kids. We get 1 million, teddy bears and chutes and ladders, and we love that because we like the younger kids to get stuff too. But they're kids of all ages and interests at the hospital, and now they can better customize the things they do and the gifts they do give, because we're just going to be filling up the fund and saying, here, do what you need to do for the kids.
And it's true. Unfortunately, sometimes the teenagers get forgotten about, but Rady Children's Hospital goes through the teens. It goes through 18, 19.
Yeah.
And when AJ and I had the pleasure of going and visiting Rady a couple years ago, we met some of the teenagers there, and they were so happy to get, at the time, technology's changed, but at the time it was like kind of like Beats, like headphones or video games, like the stuff that you wouldn't think to buy if you were in a toy store. You think of like the toys for the really little kids. So they can get to know the kids, they can get to know exactly what will put a smile on their face, and they can go get that exact thing with the money that you donate.
And those things I can tell you, because I would sit up in that crane and watch things come in. and I totally get it, because if I was running into the store to get toys for a toy drive, I wouldn't think of getting really cool headphones.
Yeah.
But boy, if you're, 16 and you get a pair of Beats, you're pretty happy. And
at the time. Now they'd be like Beats.
Yeah. So yeah, we're happy to be doing it this way as long as we need to. We'll collect the money. We'll turn that into great stuff for the kids at the hospital, and it'll all be toys and headphones and whatever it needs to be to keep the kids happy. The end goal is still the same. And our ask is still the same. Help us out. Help the kids. You can do it online right now at allinsandiego.com. Just click on donate or come see us. We're in the Giftwrap Center at Westfield UTC. The volunteers are busy right now wrapping some gifts. The donation they get for that will go right to this fund we're talking about and do all of these amazing things we're talking about. We're in Santa's workshop, by the way, at Westfield UTC.
You kind of can't miss it. If you're familiar with UTC, we're right across from Sephora, from the Tesla store. It's pretty close to that center court area with the fountain and the clock tower and the food court and the Starbucks.
Yes.
That's a good marker right there. Mm-hmm. So if you parked over by the Starbucks, or on the other side, there's Corner Bakery. It's a pretty short walk. I'm trying to give you the shortest walk because it is raining. I wanted to say it's drizzling, but it's it's like genuinely.
Yeah, I keep wanting to say,
legitimately raining.
Come see us, but I can't lie.
But it's really nice because the mall isn't quite as busy, and you shouldn't have any trouble finding parking. If you can't make it here in person, go to allinsandiego.com. You can make a donation online. Just trust that every dollar is going to go to buy toys for the kids at Rady Children's Hospital. And you may not see that big stack of toys behind us, that big mountain of toys, but just imagine that in your mind as you're making the donation.
And you never know what will happen when you get here. For example, if you walked in right now, you'd be enjoying 98 Degrees on the flat screen TV, singing some Christmas songs. And who doesn't enjoy that boy band?
Christmas wish right there.
Yeah, I know.
Them or NSYNC?
Yeah.
NSYNC's Christmas album is really good.
I feel like
really
98 Degrees was just kind of the other. There was Backstreet and NSYNC, and they were kind of even. And then 98 Degrees was like, who let the a cappella group have an album?
Wait, other than Nick Lachey? Oh, Drew Lachey.
Drew Lachey, and then the other two guys. That's what it actually said on the credits.
It is a very good Christmas. I do recommend the NSYNC Christmas album.
Yes.
And also, I mean, well, no, I was gonna go down a boy band, dark.
I'm in. We got 4 hours.
So my boy band was New Kids on the Block.
Sure.
Though.
Yeah.
They had Christmas music, right?
They not only had Christmas music, they've made Christmas music since their comeback. I don't think it was very good.
Are you serious?
You're not.
I'm not a good
Go
fan.
ahead, hand over your blockhead card if you don't know.
Those were my first 2 concerts, 2 in a row. When they must have been in LA. I don't think they stopped in Orange County, but my dad, Baba, took a few of us screaming girls to the New Kids on the Block concert.
As you're telling this story, I'm thinking, how are we going to get this back to donations? How do we steer this?
Well, okay, this is a stretch, but if I were, let's go back in time to like tween Sarah.
Sure.
If I were at the hospital, what I would have been wishing for as my toy would have been the New Kids on the Block sleeping bag.
Yes. Yes.
There was like all the bedding. Like you could get a sleeping bag, a throw pillow, I like the set. Oh, a throw pillow would be perfect for a kid in the hospital.
Sure.
So like whatever the 2022 version is of a New Kids on the Block throw pillow to offer some comfort.
If you're watching this, please don't go, girl. Please have the right stuff and make a donation.
God, this really went off the rails.
Yes.
But I enjoyed it so much.
And let's remind everyone what we're doing now.
Hey, it's AJ and Sarah, and we've got something we're very excited to share with you. For the first time since 2019, the AJ's Kids Crane for Rady Children's Hospital is back. Kind of.
Yeah, a lot has changed over the last few years, and the hospital isn't accepting actual toys right now, so we've made some changes too. We're teaming up with our absolute dream partner so we can ensure that we raise as much money for Rady as possible. All In San Diego is proud to present Santa's Workshop in Westfield UTC Mall.
So you're invited to come out and have all your holiday gifts wrapped by our awesome volunteers. It's donation-based, and any donation you make will go straight to the AJ's Kids Fund, which has, by the way, exclusively provided toys, games, and fun to the patients at Rady since 2002.
We'll be posted up inside Santa's Workshop, so yeah, we're teaming up with frickin' Santa.
Yeah.
You'll find it pretty much in the center of the mall, near the clock tower and the fountain, right across from Sephora. Now, depending on when you come out, you might just have Sarah or I wrap your gifts ourselves, and we'll be podcasting live on December 10th and 11th.
So we hope you'll plan on stopping by Santa's Workshop at UTC Mall sometime between December 9th and December 24th. You can follow us on Instagram for all the updates and details at All In SD Podcast. We hope you'll help us make this the best year yet.
So that's it. That's what's happening right now. And you're fine. I can cover for a minute. Sarah's off hanging out with her friend.
Wrapping gifts.
Which is grabbing gifts. But look, we're doing this for 5 hours. She can take a little bit of break. I can tell you that package is really what's going on here today. We're inside that Santa's Workshop you just saw. Literally, the volunteers are right on the other side of my computer wrapping these gifts. Donations are being made. They're going to the kids at Rady Children's Hospital. One challenge we have is if you comment, the stream is going out to a lot of places, but on Facebook, if you comment, I can see it right now. But depending on your privacy settings, I either see your name or I see Facebook user. So I'm forced to say thank you, Facebook user, who said you guys rock and I donated. So I wish I could see your name. I'm going to try to find it in a minute on something other than my screen. But every donation really, really helps, and they're really hard to get this time of year because there's so many great causes for people to donate to. So thank you. You made a huge difference for the kids at Rady Children's Hospital for next year. We're up against it. This drive will go on through the 23rd. But let's face it, the weekends are the biggest opportunities to move the needle, and having rain at an event, during the holidays, not ideal. Today is not ideal. So we're looking for those online donations. AllinSanDiego.com. Just click donate. It's take you just a second. Ignore the suggested amounts. We didn't put those on there. They're just arbitrary. Just hit other and give however much you want. I really want to make that very, very clear. And we're going to keep doing this because our last live event was 2019. 2020, we left radio and COVID hit. We still did a virtual one, and you guys were awesome, and we're very generous with our virtual toy drive. We weren't able to do anything last year because it was transitioning from the toys to what we're doing now. This is our first live event since 2023, and we need to make up for the time we weren't doing anything, but we were still spending money. So if you're able to donate, we'd love you for it. Here's a story. Erin, thanks for taking a few minutes to join us.
No, absolutely. Glad to be here.
Well, let's start from the beginning. How did your Rady story begin?
Oh my goodness. Well, back in December of 2015, our then 6-year-old, who didn't even know what a headache was started complaining about his forehead hurting, and it was always in the same spot. And my husband had been deployed, and we had just moved from the East Coast, so our life was a bit chaotic. And I'd say, oh gosh, we'll get you some ibuprofen when we get home. And we'd get home, I'd forget. And I'd say, oh, do you need ibuprofen? He goes, no, it went away. So I it wasn't coming together that there was a lot of regularity. So I finally mentioned it. My dad's a doctor out in San Diego, and I mentioned it to him, and he kind of gave me a weird look, and he's not the weird look guy. And he said, kids aren't supposed to get headaches like that. He goes, why don't you just go see his doc just to make sure? I'm like, okay. Yeah. So we went in, fast forward about a month, and we got an MRI, and I got that phone call every parent dreads that said, there seems to be a mass. It doesn't look to be cancerous, but it will have to be taken care of. So our next step was to meet with a neurosurgeon, which no parent wants to do. And it was from our very first appointment, everything went smoothly and everyone was so kind. He had what's called an arachnoid cyst. So it's not cancerous, which was the best news ever, but he had to have brain surgery, and he stayed in the hospital for 3 days. And every person we encountered, from the doctors, the nurses, the techs, the women that brought his dinner and his lunch, were so kind. And they would bring in distractions and movies and dogs, dogs, yes. And we were not one of the, it was there for kind of a smaller on the medical scale thing, but to us it was humongous.
Big to you, yes.
And no one ever made us feel like we were, you guys were here for the hangnail.
Right.
They just took care of us, and we felt special, and Patrick felt so special. For a long time, he didn't want to talk about any of this to anyone, and so I started doing these interviews a few years ago, and suddenly now he's like, you should talk about this, because people need to know how special they are and how good they made me feel, so we all have Patrick's backing.
Yeah, so many people have a story of being at Rady, but some people never have. And this exists. We've been doing this for over 20 years. And it exists because I was working at a radio station 20 years ago, and they asked me to do the radiothon that you just recently did. And I was in my early 20s, and I was like, children's hospital, this is going to be hard. It's going to be hard to see these sick kids. I was like really nervous about it. And I got there, and I was within a few minutes going, this place is amazing. It's every person you meet is nicer than the next. Everyone's taking care of everyone. The kids are in surprisingly great moods because of that. It's an amazing place.
Yeah, it truly is. And we felt really lucky to be there, because we're a military family. My husband has since retired, and so we moved a lot, and we have 3 boys, so we've been in our fair share of children's hospitals. And
oh my gosh,
there's no place like that. It's just makes you feel like, hey, we care about you, and we care about mom and dad, and we care about how everyone's doing, and make sure this is a positive experience. So it was, I can't say enough positive things about Rady's.
And when you're there, you have this sense, very, very acutely aware that people come from all over the country, all over the world, to Rady for their specialists. And we are so lucky that we have this right here in San Diego. I mean, it's incredible. We are we're so extremely lucky.
Yes. I mean, there are kids there from, the kid down the hall is from Mexico. There was a kid down the hall from China. They come for their specialty.
Yeah. And if all they did was supply world-class medical care for San Diego's kids,
we'd be so grateful. But to do that while also making the experience as good as your sons and so many other kids, that's kind of the real extra mile that they bring to the table. That's what we're doing today. We're specifically raising funds for the toys and the games and the playrooms, because there is no budget for that at Rady's. They count on outside people to supply those things. And can you speak on how important those things are and why people should come out and help out?
Well, yeah, it's very important, and it takes a while to find someone in San Diego who hasn't been touched by Rady's.
You're right.
Everyone you talk to, if they haven't had a child that's had something done there, their neighbor did, or their sister did, or somebody, it touches so many lives, and just all those families going through. And you might be there for an afternoon, or you might be there for a month. And kids need diversions. They're probably a little bit scared, even though they're being made to feel comfortable. They're nervous, They're scared. Mom and dad are nervous and scared.
Mm-hmm.
And so if there's diversions and toys and something to entertain the kids, that takes away half the stress right there.
Yeah, it can really change the day.
So let's make sure we get as many of those diversions as possible this year. We are inside Santa's Village right now at UTC Mall. Come out. You need your gifts wrapped anyways. Our volunteers will do it for you. You make a donation. It'll go to get those games and those toys and fill up those playrooms. And, the toys are used in so many different ways. A lot of times, the first thing you think of is boredom. If it's a kid, they're bored, you give them a toy. But it's also interaction. Their sibling is visiting. You mentioned having 3 kids. The brother or sister is there. Sometimes it's a bribe. I don't want to take my medicine today or do my treatment. There are so many ways these toys make a difference to a kid when they're at Rady, and Rady is awesome. So we thank you, Erin, for joining us, and we hope you'll join us out here at Westfield. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
You can hear. There you are. You couldn't see us for a second, but hope you hear us. I just counted. There are 10 volunteers, if I counted right, from Rady. And the gift wrap volunteers are almost all from Rady Children's Hospital. They work at Rady all week, and they come volunteer here to raise money for Rady. It's amazing.
Because it's such an awesome place, doing such awesome work. They just can't get enough of it. I totally get that.
Well, they can't get enough gifts to wrap right now. I'm just going to keep it real. So let's get them busy. Let's get some people out here. This is going on until the 23rd, but look, you have 3 weekend days left. You have the rest of today and next weekend. You didn't plan on going to the mall. The good news about the rain is the parking is out there. The lines are short. The crowds are small. The food court has plenty of room. Get out here and get it done today. We're at Westfield UTC. The Gift Wrap Center is set up inside Santa's workshop.
All you need is an umbrella, and you come get a hot coffee, and you drop off your gifts, and you just walk around and enjoy them all for a little bit while they do all the wrapping. You can even hang out in here. They have beautiful wrapping paper. You can choose your wrapping paper.
Yeah. Amazing seating and sitting areas and festive things on the flat screen TVs.
Even though it's raining outside, Santa's workshop here is actually pretty cozy. So don't worry about that. And then it feels so good to get it done. We just had a friend stop by, and she got some gifts wrapped for her son and said, "I'm so happy it's done now. It's all done."
So we're going to take a little break. So this stream will just be there. It'll still be there, but we won't be on it. We'll come back in about a half hour.
Don't miss us too much.